Okay, so 2019 was a good year for movies if you were a select handful of films, while the rest had trouble at the box office and quite a few floundered and outright died. And with 2020 now in full swing and us getting ready to move into the summer movie season in just a couple months, the question then becomes, is the coronavirus going to ultimately destroy Hollywood in 2020? And we're going to talk about that right now. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Matt Jarbo here, $3 Theater. Please do me a solid and hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that bell, and let's get into this conversation because the coronavirus is taking over so much of the conversation out there these days, especially if you happen to be a bit of a nerd. And I say that because then we've seen some reports come out saying that it's potential that Nintendo Switch will see delayed production because of the coronavirus, that the PS5 and that the Xbox Series X might be pushed into 2021 instead of their holiday 2020 release because of, well, the coronavirus, how certain conventions, Warner Brothers is pulling out of a couple places, right? Other EA gaming companies are pulling out of gaming conventions as a result of coronavirus fears. And this could be a big issue. This could be a big thing. The No Time to Die world premiere has been pulled. Mulan world premiere out of China has been pulled. People are legitimately afraid of this virus, and Hollywood apparently is paying attention. According to Deadline here, it says the MPA is closely monitoring the global spread of the coronavirus, saying the Motion Picture Association, in its first public comment about the worldwide threat of coronavirus, said today that it's closely monitoring the spread of the deadly disease and will continue taking the necessary precautions to ensure the health and safety of its employees and customers around the world. Saying here in the statement, the Motion Picture Association, with its member companies, are closely monitoring reports from public health officials about the coronavirus and protective measures to limit its impact. The well-being of our global customers and employees is our top priority, and we will continue taking the necessary precautions to ensure their health and their safety. Yeah, I mean, like, you've got Mission Impossible 7 having shut down its production over fear of the coronavirus. You've got theaters that are closing down. I'm not even making this up. We've got this that popped up also today. AMC closes theaters in Italy due to coronavirus, predicts minimal financial impact from outbreak. Saying as a precaution to the outbreak of the coronavirus in Italy, AMC Theaters boss Adam Aron mentioned today that the exhibitor has closed 22 of its 47 theaters in the country for a week since Monday, that a number of cases of the coronavirus have spiked from a reported 219 cases to about 400 to 615 cases with 17 deaths. And this stuff is crazy, like how fast it spreads. I mean, we're talking, like I mentioned before, global pandemic, right? If you've ever played the game Plague Inc., of which I have spent many hours playing Plague Inc., a lot of people out there are really kind of worried about it, right? China today just pulled the game from the App Store in China because they want to make sure like this is being contained. China is doing some very odd things in regards to this, and I think we're going to find out some bad stuff has gone on. But in regards to the entertainment industry, it's already hurting in certain aspects, right? It's already hurting. We know this because people aren't going to the theaters as often. They're waiting to stay at home and watch them on home video. They're watching them on streaming. They figure, oh, they'll just go to Disney Plus or I can buy the movie. It's just cheaper. I mean, even look here, even though that Deadline article said that AMC closed down 22 of its 47 theaters in Italy, and it's saying like, oh, it's going to have minimal impact on the finances here. They also reported today that this coming in from Variety, that AMC's fourth quarter results were mixed. And that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign when you start seeing these massive theater chains that are taking a hit, right? And it's because the movies, for one, there's way too many of them. Let's be realistic here. There are way too many of them. And like I said at the beginning, only a few of them really survive because they get the massive studio backing. They're part of tent poles. They're part of all these things. And the smaller films, they kind of get left to their own devices, and a lot of them end up kind of falling by the wayside, and people just go, I'll wait for home video on that one. And they just want to wait to see the big movies because that's what a lot of other people are seeing. But in regards to the coronavirus, I don't know where things are going to go, right? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I've been hearing reports today when I mentioned Warner Brothers, it was San Diego Comic-Con. They're actually pulling out over coronavirus concerns, even though they they didn't go to Comic-Con last year, but they're talking about it, which means that other companies, Marvel Studios and whatever else, Sony, they're going to be looking to potentially pull out of Comic-Con, which is a big event for them because of this potential fear. And I am going to Comic-Con. I'm a little bit worried. 150,000 people from all over the world. If it's not contained by then, I'm not going to go. It's just, I would rather not risk it than risk it. You know what I mean? But getting back on point about how the coronavirus will impact the box office here in the United States, right now, it's up in the air because there's not many cases here in the United States. There are a couple, but there's not that many. If it starts becoming more and more and more and more and more, then people are just going to stop going to the theaters. In fact, I live in Washington, and Bothell, Washington, which I think is around the Seattle area, closed its entire school today, its high school today, because one family was under quarantine for potential coronavirus exposure. And we're finding out there are at least now 2 cases in the United States of coronavirus having been someone being infected with it of unknown origin. And that's causing the CDC to freak out. Never mind the whole situation with the Trump administration firing all the people from the pandemic response team 3 years ago now almost, and not replacing them. And we're currently in a scramble to get this thing under control. But as the fear continues to spread, the first thing that's going to go away is going to ultimately be entertainment. While people will always find ways to justify entertainment during dark times, we have such a litany of available entertainment at our fingertips that you don't actually have to leave your house. And my fear for that is going to be the impact on the theater employees who work their asses off in many ways, and they get treated like crap from not only corporate, but a lot of customers who don't understand what goes into that job. And they're the ones that are going to be feeling the impact of it, as well as the local economy is going to be feeling the impact of it. And then, people are going to be looking at this as being like as a metric of whether a movie is good or bad based upon this. But there are going to be legit fears coming in from coronavirus. It should be interesting to see what happens, and I do hope they get this under control very, very, very soon, because we are coming into the summer movie season. I love going to the movies. I love going to the theaters. And honestly, I have 2 children, 2 years and 6 months old. If there's even a remote threat of being exposed, I'm not going to go. I'm going to stay at home. And that's me being a parent, make sure my kids are safe, making sure my family's safe, making sure I'm safe, and making sure that, I don't help spread this, because I am worried about that. Like, I was just at the Bernie Sanders rally last week in Seattle, and there were 17,000 people there, and I've come home with a cold, not coronavirus, right? It's just a cold, but still, it's like a little bit freaky during all this. Like, I'll give you a quick anecdote. I got a haircut yesterday, and I had to tell the woman that I have a cough, and she kind of freaked out a little bit because she was like, "It's not corona, is it?" I'm like, no, it's not corona. It's just a cold. And I don't have a fever. It's not respiratory, nothing like that. We're good. But still, that fear is there. And if that fear is there from someone just having a cough in public, what is that going to mean for going to an enclosed space like going to see a movie? This isn't like Joker, where you had the media amping up a potential shooter situation and trying to make it out to be like this massive, potentially violent situation that was just waiting to happen, and they all wanted it to happen. This is a silent, invisible thing that is going to become way more of a bigger fear than not. So we'll have to wait and see how it impacts Hollywood. Right now, I don't think it's going to look good for the summer season. This is going to be a move that impacts production of films, and this could potentially lead to a slowdown of all film production, foreign and even domestic, and that ends up, slowing down content for the foreseeable future until it gets under control again. But yeah, I think we're going to see a bit of a situation off of this. But anyway, look, I just want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions on this one. What do you guys think about this? Where do you think this is going? Is it going to go anywhere? Am I just overreacting? Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll talk to you guys all later. Have yourself a great day. Thank you for watching, and peace out.